Hi guys, it is Saturday morning, which means we have a core workout for you. So format's a little differently than last week. So we have 4 exercises in each bracket to get through. You're gonna superset those 4 exercises, meaning you're gonna go all the way through those 4 and then repeat again. We have 3 different brackets to get through. Each exercise will be done for 30 seconds. So if you opt for only 2 sets through each bracket, your workout's going to be about 20 minutes, maybe just a little bit under. And then if you decide to do the 3 sets, it's going to be just under 30 minutes. So it really depends on how quick you're moving through those transitions from exercise to exercise and how much break period you're taking in between each bracket. Definitely take as much time as you need, but make sure that you're moving through at least for those 4 supersets. You want to try to keep it as tight as possible while you're going through those 4 before you reset for the next set. All right, so we're gonna get you started. We're gonna start with that single leg, straight leg bridge, which means all you need is a chair or a bench or an elevated surface of some sort. You're gonna start all the way on your back side. And again, if you need a little bit more support for round 1, you're gonna start with more of your calf on there. If you need less of an adjustment or less help and you need more of a challenge, you're gonna scoot yourself back so just more of your heels are on there. So you're going to start with both feet on there first just to start so you can get yourself up, and then you're going to lift a foot off. So you can keep all your arms off the ground if you need more of a challenge. If you need less of a challenge, you're going to bring those elbows down, and then if you need more assistance, you're going to bring those arms all the way down to the floor for a wide base. So 30 seconds here, 30 seconds on the other side, and then we're moving on to exercise 2. So exercise 2 is a Russian twist, but we're going to do all one side. So option 1, you can have those feet elevated. You're going to start on one side of the hip, bring it across, okay? So we're trying to stay as stable as possible, okay? If you need to, you're also fine for resting those heels on the floor. Again, light with those legs. Recline back to where you can. 30 seconds here, and then you would do 30 seconds on the other side. So we're trying to keep those hips from swaying in the opposite direction to counterbalance that weight, okay? Make sure that those core muscles are firing and kind of stabilizing us, all right? We're gonna move on from there. Exercise 3 in this bracket of exercises are heel taps. So again, weight doesn't have to be a dumbbell. It can be a book, whatever you have laying around the house. You're gonna come all the way on your backside. You have seen these before. So you're gonna start with that tabletop. And as always, you can get rid of the weight if you need to, but the further back that dumbbell is not resting on the floor, but hovering above the floor, you wanna make sure that that pelvic tilt is on, lower back is pressed in. You're gonna drop one heel at a time towards that floor. If you need more of a challenge even still, you're gonna extend that leg out, right? As opposed to keeping it at that 90-degree bend, all right? Elbows are in tight. If you need less of a challenge, also you can bring that weight over or ditch it completely. But I really want you focusing on lower back pressed in, lower abdominals turned on, and really getting that smooth, controlled motion. You don't have to touch the floor, right? Like I said, you can extend out if that's more your thing. I have this couch in my way, so I apologize. But that's what you're looking for. You just want to make sure that those knees aren't pulling in unless you need a little bit more of assistance. Really kind of test the waters out. Really get that lower back pressed in and lower abdominals really turned on. All right, pelvic tilt is always on. And then last but not least, we have opposite elbow to opposite knee. So we're a little bit more resting on the floor for this one. So hands can go behind the head. If you feel like you're pulling on that neck, just put those hands behind your ears. So we're going to start, again, resting on the floor with those feet, but we're going to reach opposite elbow to opposite knee. Again, that knee is not going to come in more than tabletop, meaning it's not going to come in more than 90 degrees. So we're not just trying to pull this knee to our chest. We want to keep it here and meet halfway with that opposite shoulder. Again, I don't care if the elbow actually touches the knee. I want you to get that rotation through that torso, really working those obliques, getting a little bit of that crunch in there and that roll up, but controlling that motion down, no herky-jerky movements. Anytime we're working core, slow, controlled, we want that contraction through our core to be happening, right? We're not just going through the motions, we're not using momentum to kind of push us up. all right? So that would be the whole first bracket. That's the 4 exercises. You're gonna decide to repeat that either 1 more time through or 2 more times through for a total of 3 sets, okay? Take at least a minute rest in between before you're moving on to the next bracket. You're gonna kind of need that to set yourself up anyways. So bracket number 2, we've got, if you have a mini band or even a regular band that you can tie into a circle, okay, you're gonna put that mini band around your legs and above the knees. And we're gonna start with the first exercise, again on that elevated surface. So exercise 1, we've got just regular hip bucks. And again, if you don't have the mini band, you can do certainly the same thing without it. You just wanna make sure you're digging the bottom part of those heels in, 90-degree bend at the knees, 90-degree bend at the hips if you can. Driving up, keeping that tension on that band, controlling back down. All right, so we're kind of keeping that tension on the outside of the hips. Abductors, adductors are firing. We're keeping those toes straight ahead. We're not out or in, and making sure that that band never gets lax. We want to keep that tension on there so our knees stay stacked in line with our ankles and our hips. Okay, so again, wider base, you can have more control with those arms on the floor, a little bit less control, but still some, or take it out of the equation altogether. All right, so that's exercise 1. Exercise 2, we're doing a chest press to a rotation. So again, weight in hand, feet are gonna be fixed in a squared up position, so about shoulder width apart. Okay, toes straight ahead, knees are slightly bent, hips are slightly back. You're gonna press out, rotate with that upper rib cage, pull it back in. Notice my hips are not moving. Okay, everything from that belly button down is really staying fixed. And we're only rotating as far as that rib cage is really gonna allow us to, and stabilizing with those hips and that lower abdominal, keeping everything nice and tight. Awesome. So almost working more anti-rotational. As the upper body moves, lower body stays nice and stable. Okay, so that's exercise 2. Exercise 3 is going to be a Superman with an arm sweep. So as always, you can modify. If you don't like the arm sweep, you can certainly take that out. You can do cobras. If the lower back is just not your thing right now, you got some kind of injury going on, feel free. You can always just go into lying opposites where we're working more rear delt or shoulder and the hip, as opposed to really getting to that hyperextension of that lower back, okay? For everyone else, you're gonna start thumbs up, head neutral. We're gonna come up into that Superman, right? So everything lifts, legs nice and long, stretching energy through the fingertips and the toes. Arm sweep comes down, all the way back and down, right? So lift, arm sweep, nice, slow and controlled, back down, okay? When we're down, remember, we're not head up. We're not straining the neck or that cervical spine, okay? 30 seconds there, and then we're on to our last one, V-hold, or sit to kind of an extension out. Again, you're not unfamiliar with these. We use these a lot. So option 1 is going to be more here, okay? And then if you can, every so often, kind of extend out, pull it back in, extend out, pull it back in. You're going to go 30 seconds here, okay? If that's too much, then you're going to rest those feet. You're just going to recline back, hold it for a second, come back up. We're never coming all the way up to rest unless we have to, okay? You're going to come back as far as you can, pull it back up. So we're still working, just not as hard. Pull back, roll up, right? Hollowing out that stomach, C curve is on, right? Slight pelvic tilt. All right, and then we're moving on to our next bracket. So that's those 4 for your second bracket. Supersetted, you're gonna go back either for 1 or 2 more sets, okay? And then we're moving on to the last bracket. So we have bird dogs, but we're gonna go all the same side first. So again, you can do it on the floor if you prefer. I like to give ourselves a little bit more challenge where we've been doing this for a few weeks now. We're going to be on that elevated surface. So you can use a chair as long as it doesn't have arms on it, and get something that's elevated just so you can't cheat with this resting foot. Okay, but we want to keep those shoulders as much over those elbows and those wrists as possible. Knees underneath the hips. Okay, you're going to extend out, and then you're going to pull back in. You're going to extend out, and you're going to pull back in. Now, keep in mind, as we're doing this, sometimes we want to kind of start shifting, right, and then we start pulling in. We want to almost feel like we're starting back at square one every time we come in. So I want you to almost graze that surface as you're coming in, right? Little crunch, and then extend back out. And we're lengthening, right, bicep and tricep by that ear, flexing that back foot. We have energy going out both through the fingertips and that heel, right? We're not lifting and arching in that back. So you go 30 seconds there, 30 seconds the other side, okay? Do what works for you. So if you need to use the lower surface, that's fine. And then you're moving on to exercise 2, so which is also a split set, or split side, I should say. So we have dead fish. So you're gonna have one arm out to the side. If you need to, you can always tuck it underneath your head, okay? But you're gonna be on kind of that glute, arms extended, legs extended. You can use your other hand just kind of reaching down the side of that thigh, and you're gonna lift, almost like you're trying to reach for that knee, and you're just gonna crunch. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you can extend out, okay, but we're gonna be here. Nice, slow, and controlled. If this bothers anyone's hip for whatever reason, again, you kind of wanna be back on the meaty side. If for whatever reason that bothers you, pick another side exercise or an oblique exercise. You can certainly do your side plank dips instead, and you can split those feet if you need to, okay? Whatever works for you. And then we're moving on from there. So you do 30 seconds on one side, flip it over, 30 seconds on the other side. And then we're going into our bear crawl hold. So pretty straightforward, very much like a plank. You're gonna be wrists underneath those shoulders, knees underneath the hips, just like our quadruped position, how we would set up for cats and cows, all right? You're gonna start here, you're gonna dig your toes underneath, you're gonna spread those fingertips out so we're pushing through the entire hand, not just the heel of the palm. Lift, and you're hollowing out that stomach. You're just holding here. So those shins should be as parallel to the floor as possible. We're pulling that belly button up and in. We're keeping that head neutral, right? So we're not hanging it, we're not straining it to look ahead, right? And we're lifting, we're pushing through those arms, shoulder blades back and down, hollow out that stomach. Hold it for 30 seconds. All right, and then we're moving on from there into our alternating V up. So we start again on our back side, and we're gonna go kind of, if you would like to, you can reach opposite hand, opposite foot. If you wanna just stay straight, you can stay straight as well. But you're gonna be here, right? So lifting more onto our tailbone, right? If it's too hard to keep that leg straight, you can certainly bend it, more like that single leg rower. Okay, whatever works for you. And again, if that's still too much, then just do a variation of kind of the first round that we did, was the opposite elbow to opposite knee. You can certainly do that, or you can go back to slow bicycles, which we didn't do today, but we've done before. Okay, whatever version works best for you. Try to challenge yourself. Remember, you can't make a change if we don't make things a little bit more difficult. We want to kind of get out of that comfort zone, kind of push ourselves a little bit more. So don't be afraid to try something, assuming that it's safe for you. We're okay with being uncomfortable. We're not okay with being hurt. So make sure you know the difference. Test the waters out a little bit at a time. See how your body reacts, and let us know what you think of the workout. And we will hopefully see you soon. Stay well.